back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be working on my brother's 325. We're going to be switching out the torque converter. If you guys got an automatic transmission and you're giving you problems, it's most likely your torque converter. We're not 100% sure, but we've been kind of linking it down to that. So we're going to go ahead and start dropping this, and then we're going to pull it out, pull the transmission, and then pull off the torque converter. Hopefully everything works out. I'm not going to get too deep into details on how to take everything off. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Maybe we'll get a little more detail into the transmission removal, but for now we're going to start dropping the exhaust, the drive line, everything under the car. We got it already jacked up, so you guys can see here. We ended up picking up these jack stands. It's going to help out a lot. My brother picked them up online. We should get the car high enough so we can pull off the transmission. So like I said, we already started to start stripping down some of the stuff down here. So there's your automatic transmission there. You get all the exhaust off. It is necessary to get it out. All right, guys, we got the exhaust off here. Pretty easy. Basically has a bracket here, little hanger in the back, and then the flanges up front. These are usually pretty hard to get off because the bolts are pretty toasted or pretty rusted, but got them off. The whole assembly came off. So next step is going to get the driveline off. You guys can see here we have a slight transmission leak, so the transmission also leaks oil. So we're trying to kill two birds with one stone. Hopefully we can replace a seal on the input on the transmission and also change the torque converter out. So right now, next step is we're going to pull this whole heat shield out right here. You can see it's got a few screws all the way around the chassis. Get the heat shield off. That'll give us room to get to the driveline coupler down here. Hopefully we can get that off pretty easily. And then we got to remove the transmission linkage, so the linkage here, and then disconnect it from the shifter inside, and we should be able to drop the transmission a little bit and get access to the bolts that go behind the transmission and the engine. This is probably going to be the more challenging part of the job because you got to have a massive amount of extensions to get all those bolts off, but we'll get into that detail once we get to that point. Right now we're going to go ahead and pull the heat shield off like I said. Alright guys, we are also going to drain all the transmission oil, so that way when we get it off, hopefully we don't make any messes. Should make it a little easier. Make sure to remove these connectors. And unplug all the electrical connectors on the side of the transmission. Try to get it free. Alright guys, we're going to get the drive line off the rear where the differential's at. Got 4 bolts back there. Get those 4 off. Then we'll pull the ones up front here. We got 3 bolts right there, and then we got 2 right here holding the carrier bearing. Alright guys, so we got the bolts off the front of the driveline here. Now we just gotta drop these 2 here and we'll drop the driveline. I believe we do need to drop the starter in order to be able to separate the transmission from the engine. So that's something we're going to check right now. Might have to move on to that next. All right guys, so we got the shift linkage off. We just connected the electrical plug up here. You can see right there, the one up front. And now he's just taking off number 13 for the transmission coolant line. A little bit of oil might come out, so watch out. And then that'll give us full access to all the transmission bolts. Okay guys, so the next step was to take the 3 bolts out of the torque converter. So there's a window you can get to right there next to the exhaust, next to the transmission. We took the cover off.
I need a magnet. It's gonna fall.
Okay guys, so the next step was actually to get the 3 bolts out of the torque converter in there. There's a window, so as you can see we already removed one. You got to turn the crank, so you got to get a socket on the pulley here, turn it so you can see the next one and the next one. So there's 3 bolts there, so we already got one off. We're going to turn the engine, get the next 2 off. Guys, this is the bolt we're looking for right here. Look, as we turn it, there it is. That's the one you got to get to. So We got 2 off. This is the final one. Get back to it right here. All right, guys, we got all the transmission bolts off. This is the last one here. This car was actually missing a few, so we suspect somebody had already tampered with it. So made it a little bit easier to get those off since they're not even on there. And this is our setup here. We got the jack with a block. Hopefully this should be able to balance the weight of the transmission. We're gonna try it. If not, we'll reposition, but it should work out. We'll keep going here.
Like that.
There.
It moved. I was holding it in, that's why I was stuck. It's like the plate.
What you need to try to do is push it from that side, the jack here.
Alright.
Try to like push it. Yeah. While I wiggle it. So we can make it. Okay. Far enough, or we gotta keep it?
A little more. Just,
I need to drop it, or we're good.
hold on, I'll tell you when to Alright. So, I think we're cleared it. I'm just trying to get ready. Just
Is it gonna come straight down now?
yeah, you're gonna
You
be
clear
good.
all the way, the shaft, the pin, the
Yeah.
ball, everything?
Yeah, I don't see nothing else on top of
Nothing to
it.
hold?
Yeah, it's good. It's already cleared it.
Lower it?
Yeah, it's right. Slowly.
Just make sure it doesn't hit the walls where it's gonna tip it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, see how like it's gonna want to go that way because it's lowering.
You got it. You got it. It's coming. It's coming. I'm
That's what you
coming.
couldn't do by yourself, nigga?
I'm
I did
not.
it by myself. I should pull the whole engine by myself.
Hold on. We're gonna have to
Yeah.
come out this way.
No, hold on. What we're gonna do is like, let me lower it all the way. We can rotate this. See the way that we can point the jack that way, so we can push slide out that way. Or we can just slide down to a bigger wood and we can slide out that way.
Okay.
Hold on, let's lower it all the way.
You only got a little bit to go.
Yeah, but look, we might even clear it with the jack. If we can clear up there and slide forward towards you, then we're good. All right, guys, we got the transmission out, torque converter's out. That seal's definitely messed up, so we're gonna get it off right here. And I think we're gonna call it quits for today, but we're gonna be washing the transmission soon, get all the parts lined up, and start putting it back together. So it'll still be in the same video, but it's gonna be a different day, so we'll get back to you guys. Catch you later. All right, guys, so we didn't call it quits yet. We got the transmission cleaned up right here. We're starting to get some cleaner on it. Decided to try to get ahead of it, so keep going, get it cleaned up at least today while we wait for parts to come in. So this is it right now, getting degreased. I'm gonna show you a little bit when the water starts to hit it, but it's already looking a lot cleaner. So this transmission had already been leaking for probably about a good 2 years. Kept just putting oil in it, but as you can see, that automatic oil gets everywhere. The car just completely covered it in it under the car, so we're gonna wash the car too. Do not let your cars get this oil leak.
And they look beautiful.
BMWs leak as it is. We don't need to let them get worse. Right, we got some degreaser on it, scrubbing it off. Last that was the comparison.
Gotta see what you have.
Guys, you need to use a plastic bristle brush. It really gets in there. You can see. Let's get all those little corners. So we are headed to go pick something up. We ended up finding out the transmission splines looked a bit worn. So we're gonna go see another used trans right here. They have it with the torque converter. So we're gonna go see SoCal E46 Parts. He's right here located in the IE. So we're here picking up this transmission. Guys, so we decided not to use this transmission. If you can see, the splines on the input shaft are really worn down, so we decided not to use this one. We didn't want to take a chance and the transmission slip, so we ended up picking up another unit. It's used and it came with a torque converter, but shout out to SoCal E46 Parts, Lorenzo, for hooking it up with this one here. We're gonna get it cleaned up, but it's definitely a lot better. If you look at the input gear here, those splines look really good, so this should be better. We're gonna get cleaned up. All right, guys, so we ended up changing the engine main seal and the main seal housing gasket. It's behind the flywheel here. So we took off all 8 bolts from the flywheel, removed that, got to the gasket. You can look it up online on how to change it. We didn't record it, we're just trying to move through this process. So now we got the flywheel back on. We're gonna tighten up the bolts, and then we're getting closer to get the transmission back together. Transmission up. Got it lined up, got the first dowel kind of lined up here. Got a bolt there and one there. We're gonna get these snugged up, close the gap a little bit. Once it's closed, we'll get them all tightened up and screwed on. And then we'll get to the torque converter and get those 3 bolts up front. Everything is going back together. My brother's got a transmission on, got the transmission on. Put the transmission bracket right now. Flywheel's on. Pretty much real close to getting started. Got to get the linkage together on the transmission there, figure out what gear we are in, and test everything first, and then we'll get all the aluminum covers back on. I don't know if we're going to be showing all that today. We'll probably just end up speeding through everything and then getting the car running. Okay guys, so before we get this car started and check it out, my brother decided to drop his transmission oil pan. He's gonna switch out the oil filter just because we don't know the condition of it, and then transmission oil filter specifically, and then just for you guys that never seen an automatic transmission inside, I never seen one either. All I run is manual ones, but here is the solenoids. This is what it consists of. If your filter is dirty, oil can't get in them. The solenoids cannot make a shift change. So if you guys ever have any issues with your transmission, make sure you change your oil, make sure you change the filter, and just check these wires in general. None of them are pinched or anything like that. So we're just gonna keep on going here. He's pulling the filter off now. Looks like there's a couple screws that hold it in. Two. He's got a torque.
It's a 30.
It's a 30.
T30. You gotta be careful with that. Right here, you're using the 27s and the 30s, and a lot of people use the 25 instead of the 27 because it does fit, but it'll strip your bolt, which I had 2 bolts strip on me right now, but hammered them down with a 30.
So the 27, guys, is a real tight fit. It might strip, so he was able to get it off with a 30 and hammer it in there. So make sure you got a tight fit on the socket.
It just comes right out.
There it is, guys. It'll pop off. There's about an O-ring on top, I'm pretty sure, that keeps it sealed.
And they're dirty.
Make sure you got a tray there. Damn the last owner. Damn you, you did
No,
not take
but they never change it. That's what they tell them. It's a lifetime warranty. Nope. Has to be changed.
I don't know if you guys ever read the manual on these cars. They claim lifetime warranty for sure on the differential, because I know my differential and my transmission
matter of fact
manual
right
just say
here.
lifetime warranty, don't change it. But
I think on the green sticker
I think you guys would be a fool not to ever
says lifetime transmission oil filter in case of repair use only in BMW oil part number.
basically they're telling you it has lifetime oil, you don't need to change it. The only reason you have to change it is in case you took it off or whatever repair. But like I said, you got to be a fool to not change the oil. Everything wears, so make sure to change your transmission oil. Make sure to change your differential oil back here, because just gonna prolong everything. On my car, I always change it on the differential. I always change it on the manual transmission. Doesn't hurt it. It runs great. So now we're gonna get the flange surface here cleaned up, get the fan cleaned up down here, and then get a new gasket, new filter, and we'll put it back up. If we don't get it done today, guys, we'll show you tomorrow. And if we don't do it tomorrow, or if I miss it, because we all gotta work, we got different schedules.
I don't.
We'll keep you guys posted on the next one. But we'll show you guys when this car is finally running. It's been a long video. It's been a long time. Weekends, little by little, but it can get done. Make sure to get some ramps like these, because these really help. Shout out to Hector for buying these ramps.
Yeah.
And then shout out to me for having these extra longer jack stands than the ones he had. All right, guys, moment of truth. We're gonna about to get this shit going. In drive. Put that shit in park then.
So should I take it off?
No, put your shit in park and push the shifter forward. Try it. All right, guys, second attempt. I don't think we were set up in the right linkage for the park. Let's see. There it is. Car's running again. We gotta let it run for a little bit. Make sure there's no transmission oil leaks. There's no exhaust, so open header. Open headers, no exhaust, guys. So basically we have stock cats. We ended up gutting them out. No exhaust. This is what it sounds like. For your info, FYI. Guys, so he just took the car out for a run. Runs great. Now we're gonna get it back on the ramps and put the exhaust back together, put all the shielding, but we're gonna be calling this a wrap pretty closely right here. Shout out to SoCal E46 parts for the transmission and the torque converter. Came out great, works great. So we're gonna wrap it up, put it together, and maybe we'll take you guys for a spin. Guys, we got it running, no leaks anymore. Tested it out, took it out on the street already. You just heard a little bit of a squeak sound or something like scraping, so we're gonna check that out. Hopefully it's nothing big, but as far as the car driving, leaking oil, it's fixed already, so that's a good thing. The other transmission was done, it wasn't shifting anymore. All right, guys, so we ended up checking out the car, see what was going on with it, and definitely not anything to do with the transmission. That's all good now. It looks like one of the rear axles is actually lost all the grease, and he never noticed it before, but now we saw that. So he's gonna pick up a new axle, put it on there, and that should be the issue. We're gonna call that a wrap, guys. If you like this video, give us a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.